talking about one India under the Prime Minister of our country, and that is what is being witnessed on the ground today at the roadshow, because from people from different communities, different religious backgrounds, different creeds, different regions, they all have gathered together in this massive roadshow by the Prime Minister of our country. There are Bengalis and Gujaratis and Marathis and Tamil and people from all parts of our country, from all regions of our country, that have come together to cheer Prime Minister Narendra Modi as he files his nomination tomorrow. There are people from the Muslim community, the Hindu community, the Jains, the Sikhs, the Parsis. They have also all come together to celebrate this occasion with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There are people, there are women who are at this point of time being recognized. They have been brought in, especially these beneficiaries that have gotten advantage of the schemes and projects that have been launched by Prime Minister. There are a lot of youth that have been brought in. There are people from the farmer community. It all boils down to unity and diversity, which the roadshow of Prime Minister Narendra Modi signifies. Let's start this discussion on the telecast. With me is Sumit P. Sumit, the very idea of having this roadshow, and not just because it is the nomination day for the Prime Minister tomorrow, but it speaks volumes of what the Prime Minister wants to convey to the public across the country, for what the Prime Minister wants to convey to the people of the world. Because one thing is holding a road show that are happening dime a dozen across the country right now because the election season is on. But when the Prime Minister holds a road show ahead of his nomination that he files tomorrow for the Varanasi constituency, it is also a message that India truly is pluralistic. India truly stands and is a symbol of unity and diversity, and that is what is visible on the ground amongst the people who have come from all parts of the country.
Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. Well, the testimony to the fact is, we will not talk about how many lakh of people were there. We'll not even talk how many kilometers of roadshow it was there. It's Prime Minister's roadshow, Modi's roadshow. So lakhs and kilometers are incidental. They just happen. But what I liked about it, today we had brothers from our Muslim community. We had brothers and sisters from our Sikh community. We have Sindhis, we had Marathis, we had Bengalis. There were so many different people from various states, various demographic divides, and various even religious beliefs. They had queued up and they had shown their solidarity and support to Prime Minister Modi for one thing. That is development, development, and development. I was in the day on your channel. There were people who had come from from Jharkhand, from Bihar. आप क्यों आए यहाँ पे? हम विश्वनाथ के दर्शन करने आए और मोदी जी के दर्शन करने आए. So that was the kind of sentiment on the road. People were talking of, we are going to make Prime Minister Modi win by 10 lakh votes. अब की बार 10 लाख वोटों से जिताना. अब की बार 400 बार मोदी सरकार. I mean, these people were not कार्यकर्ताओं of BJP. They are ordinary people like you and me who just went there. A lot of people had stayed back when they came to know that Modi ji is coming there. And this all-round support from all sectors and all pockets of the community, all pockets of the demography talks of one thing. If you do the politics of development, and if you talk of Akhand Bharat, if you talk of Sashakt Bharat, if you talk of very solid foundation of development and prosperity for all, that is what happens. And let's not forget, Varanasi is around 18% of the Muslim population. When he went to the Muslim-dominated areas, the flowers were thrown on the Prime Minister. So this dharana that Prime Minister Modi is anti-Muslim and only Hindus vote for Modi and all, these are all figments of imagination, manifestation of a cooked mind, which the opposition has created. They want to ferment divides. And what I was very liking was also Yogi ji was along with him. On the same car, it was Modi ji and it was Yogi ji on his left. I mean, you could see that double engine Sarkar and these two honest leaders. One is a yogi, one is a karma yogi. Yogi ji to yogi hai, Modi ji is a karma yogi. This yogi and karma yogi jodi, the kind of support it is getting across the board. The women who were talking, we were not able to step out of our houses. Now, even at 12 a.m. in the night, 1 a.m. in the night, think of Varanasi, which once was a hotbed of crime. You could go out. Today, Megha ji, before Modi ji was there, you could not go out to a ghat after 7:38 when it was dark. Today, you can go to all the ghats. All the 84 ghats have been renovated and the grandeur of Varanasi has been restored. And let's not forget, 13 crore people visited after the Kashi Vishwanath corridor was built. 13 crore into 4,000, it is 52,000 crore rupees was generated as a revenue which is more than $6 billion, $6 billion for the people of Kashi. It got distributed to a taxi wala, auto wala, chai wala, prasad wala, and to a weaver, to a bunkar, and no caste, no creed, no religion. Nobody asks anybody's religion. When money flows in the society, nobody asks anybody religion. Besides air, besides the convention center, besides the road, railway station, besides the flyover, besides the development of airport, besides the साफ पीने के पानी का जल का connection and the cultural development of the Varanasi as such.
Yeah.
This is what BGA has given to the people of Banaras. I think all the MPs should take this as a benchmark and see how they can create a Varanasi in their own constituency. That is the challenge.
Okay, all right. Indol Sen Gupta also on the telecast with me. And Indol, looking at the progress that has been witnessed by Varanasi, and the numbers speak, say it all. From the Varanasi-Kolkata Expressway, where 22,500 crore rupees was invested into it, Varanasi Ropeway, 645 crore rupees, Chitrakoot Solar Park, 4,000 crore rupees, Ghagra Varanasi Bridge, 667 crore rupees, Banas Kashi Sankul Dairy Plant that has been set up at the cost of 475 crore rupees. There is the Sultanpur Varanasi section for over 3,000 crore rupees, LPG bottling plant, 214 crore rupees, Varanasi TDP waste charcoal plant, 200 crore rupees. Besides that, there is the Varanasi Kashi Vishwanath corridor that has been built. There is the steamer that at this point of time has been launched, allowing for more pilgrims to come and visit Varanasi, visit Kashi Vishwanath temple, and not have any encumbrance in traveling, in utilizing their journeys. Not to forget about the air connectivity, the road connectivity, the rail connectivity. It has all been brought. There have been cancer institutes that have been set up. There are universities that have been set up. So here it is, on one hand, a narrative that is peddled by the opposition, saying that Modi plays the religion card, Modi plays the Hindu card, Modi plays the communal card during the elections, and that's how BJP garners its vote. It is an RSS, it's a right-wing party, and that's how things work, and majoritarianism works for BJP. But here it is about one India, here it is about development, here it is about the welfare of the people. And this is what is witnessed on the ground when there are people of all castes, communities, creed, religion, regions coming together and cheering on and goading on Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the hope that he will win the election for the third time from Varanasi as well.
Obviously, there are two or three things that should be kept in mind here. Usually, unless some dramatic things go wrong, a prime minister's constituency obviously is something very important and gets due support. If it doesn't in any case, then that's of course very surprising. In particular, Varanasi needed a lot of help when Prime Minister Modi became, won his first election from Varanasi. Now, why did it need a lot of help? It is one of the oldest cities in human civilization, and yet Varanasi, Benares or Kashi was a real mess. And the reason it was a real mess was that it had been neglected, it was derelict. I mean, I remember visiting Kashi again and again, and you could barely see the sky when you looked up, from your rickshaw or whatever you were traveling on to go towards Kashi Vishwanath. Why could you not see the sky? Because it was full of, illegal electricity wires crisscrossing by the hundreds and thousands. Right. It was a real mess. Now, at every step, I remember, I even wrote about this in my book, Being Hindu. When you walk towards Kashi Vishwanath, all you could hear were loudspeakers telling you, be careful of pickpockets. It was a real mess. It really needed some dramatic, visionary help. And I think finally Kashi has received that. The corridor is a huge success. And I think people from around the world and young people, and I really need to underline this in your show today, we always think that a pilgrimage in India always means elderly people going there. Please go to Kashi. You will see hundreds and thousands of young people gathering on its ghats to watch the Ganga Aartis, to watch the evening Aarti, to walk around the corridor. It really needed that boost. And I'm really delighted that it has got it. But none of this can work without economic support, and all the long list that you just read out. That's the economic support that underlines and undergirds the great success that Kashi always ought to have been and finally is beginning to be again.
Absolutely. Firoz Bakht Ahmed, we are talking about One India in this telecast and One India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So why is building the Ayodhya Ram temple anti-Muslim? Why is it even talking and hoping to build the Kashi Vishwanath temple in Varanasi, something which is being looked upon as anti-Muslim? Something similar in terms of the narrative being peddled in Mathura over the Krishna Janmabhoomi temple. Why is it being looked upon for every temple, and especially the temples that are integral to the faith of Hindus across the globe? They have been destroyed and destroyed several times over under various rules and regimes and reigns of the invaders that captured India at different times of the centuries. So how is rebuilding those temples, giving them their past grandeur and bringing back the legacy of the Hindu temples, of the Hindu legacy, of our seeds and our Vedas and Puranas being looked upon as majoritarian politics?
Well, Megha, thank you so much to add me to this, I think, historic program. Well, you have asked me a sensitive and a very sensible question. You are saying building of Ram temple or going to BAPS to Abu Dhabi or maybe planning to build other temples in Mathura and Kashi. Is it some majoritarian plan or something on those lines? Nothing doing. Let me tell you something from the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran says, Lakum dinokum waliyadin. It means to you, your religion, to me, mine. I think whatever Modi ji is doing, it is not against any religion. It is not against Muslims. It is not against the spirit of Islam or against any hadith.
फिरोज साहब म्यूट हो गए.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, now you are, sir.
Sorry. Someone called.
Yes, go ahead, sir. Go ahead. We can hear you. Okay, we'll come back. Okay, I'll come back to the discussion. Right now, Prime Minister is in Kashi Vishwanath temple. He's offering the prayers and there are all these hymns and the ceremony is going on. So we'll just quickly dip into it for a bit.
शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरोगदयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगो शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि यतो यतः समीहसे ततो नो अभयं कुरु सन्नः कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयन्नः पशुभ्यः सुखशान्तिर्भवतु श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः संकल्पः ओम विष्णुर्विष्णुर्विष्णुः श्रीमद्भगवतो महापुरुषस्य विष्णुराज्ञया प्रवर्तमानस्य अद्य श्री ब्रह्मणोऽह्नि द्वितीय परार्धे विष्णुपदे श्री श्वेतवाराह कल्पे वैवस्वतमन्वन्तरे अष्टाविंशतियुगे विमुक्त वाराणसी क्षेत्रे
All right. Firoz Bakht Ahmed, can you hear me now?
I can listen to you very well, but I am worried whether you are able to listen to me.
I can hear you, sir. So continue with your point.
To complete, I will not take much time. You see, there's a misconception that Modi ji is not liked by Muslims. Now, he might not be liked by those Muslims who are, in fact, misled and who are, in fact, led haywire by the likes of Owaisi brothers or some Khan from UP. In fact, Modi is not only a national leader, he is accepted internationally, right? And so far as Muslims are concerned, let me tell you, his USP among Muslim nations is that the 7 Muslim nations, the top Muslim nations, have offered Modi ji their best, citizen awards, right? Apart from that, as far as Modi and Muslims are concerned, I think, he is not into Hindu, Muslim, Sikh or anything. He is a national leader. He is an Indian leader. and he has also carved his niche as an international leader. The way Modi ji is conducting India and internationally, I think he deserves this Nobel Peace Prize. Maybe some people might start blowing hot and cold on what I am saying, but he has given India what we call domino point. And today India's name is far more respectable, compared to her history for the last 75 years. So Modi has
Okay.
made India one. It is not a question of Hindu, Muslim, or anyone. Muslims love him equally. For lastly, he has said for Muslims मेरी संतान की माफिक हैं और हम मुसलमान के साथ बराबरी का सलूक करेंगे. And this thing I gave to the nation when I heard on 15th of 2015 on 16th of June at his residence, when he told Muslims, मैं हर मुसलमान के एक हाथ में कुरान और एक में मैं computer. This is what Modi is.
Yeah.
And people who mislead Muslims are not going to follow them. See the
Okay.
results; they will be stunning. It will be in favor of Modi ji,
Okay.
and Modi ji will cross 450 seats.
Okay, all right. Rahul, coming back to you, and I just want to bring this reference, and this is about Pandit Nehru and how he always kept himself away from religion. So much so, when the Somnath temple mega celebrations were taking place, he directed the president of the country to go on his own accord and not as the president of the country, but only as an individual, as a citizen of the country, to pay his obeisance to the gods, versus a prime minister who visits the temples, pays obeisance, does the prayers, and does it proactively, not just during the election time. Now, there is a distinction and a massive contrast the way politics was played under the Congress era, under Pandit Nehru, and the politics that is played under Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP. How do you view the contrast, and how does this impact the electorate?
I have highest of regards for Pandit Nehru ji. I respect him, but with all humility, let me say the age of Nehruvian secularism is over. We have officially moved away from Nehruvian secularism to a sabka saath kind of a paradigm. You can call it pluralism, you can call it communal harmony, you can call any name, but that era is over of some kind of a anti-Hindu pseudo-secularism. You can call it in a disparaging way, you can call it Nehruvian secularism. Whichever term you want to choose, that era is over. Even during Mahatma Gandhi's time, K.M. Munshiji and Sardar Patel wanted to reinstate Somnath temple, but Nehruji was not for it. Then they went to Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, and Mahatma Gandhi was supportive of the position of K.M. Munshiji and Sardar Patel, but with a caveat that we should use our own money, or we should have our own funds to rejuvenate the temple or reinstate the temple. See, that was always the centrist position. So, Kashi is one of the greatest civilizational spaces we have. As Hindolji rightly said, I have been to Kashi, say 15 or 16 years ago. I was very disappointed because what I saw was not the Kashi or what I have read, in the kathas that I have read in the youth or in the childhood, or what I have heard. It was full of garbage. With due respect, it was full of animals roaming around. But I went to Kashi some years ago, maybe 2 years back, along with my family and my child, and I was happy to show him the change, and I was personally telling him the change that was being brought. So beyond politics, beyond BJP, Congress, this is a great change that happened to one of the greatest holy cities, one of the ancient most cities of world civilization itself. Long before Athens, there was Kashi. Is usually to be, you usually tell. So that's a great space that has happened. Second, KK Muhammad, who himself hails from the Muslim community, rightly points out that there are some spaces like Kashi, Ayodhya, Mathura that are civilizationally very important for Hindu community. At the same point of time, we should also listen to people like Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudeva or Sri Ravi Shankar ji, who has always been moderate. Even a person usually strong position, Wala Subramanya Swami sir also has said, it is not right to open a Pandora's box. There are many of of our own friends who say about 30,000 temple or 3 lakh temple or 30 lakh temple. Yes, invaders have destroyed hundreds and thousands of temples, no doubt. But, there should be a reasonable give and take and reasonable line of respect that we should have. That's the reason why I believe a moderate position would be expanding the scope of Places of Worship Act, where Muslims will also feel comfortable to enlarge it. But there should be a line somewhere which can be drawn with our Shankaracharyas, our spiritual leaders, our seers deciding where to draw that particular line of reclaiming what is rightfully ours, which were destroyed by invaders. We should not open some kind of a Pandora's box where it will panic our Muslim brothers into some kind of a panic mode. At the same point of time, what Modi ji's approach is very nice. He takes care of Hindu interest. He is not hurting anybody else's interest. He is not anti-Muslim, but he is pro-Hindu. He is pro our culture, pro our heritage. That is the line that we should take. And I'm very happy that our PM proudly wears the dharma up his sleeves.
Okay. So, may quickly a comment from you as well. Again, a contrast of Congress politics versus the BJP politics, particularly under Narendra Modi. Is the country seeing a change? Is this just about Hinduism and Hindutva, or is it also about the country's legacy? Is it also about reinstating, bringing back the Hindu legacy? And when we talk about the Hindu legacy, it is not just limited to Hinduism, but it is limited to the inheritance that our country has gotten, but was destroyed time and time over again.
Meghaji, Hindutva is a way of life. That is what the Honorable Supreme Court has to say. And this country's ethos, identity, and acceptance, or whatever we stand for, is Hindu. Whether people like it or not, that is what it doesn't matter. 85% of the population is Hindu. और हिंदू की बात यहाँ नहीं होगी तो पाकिस्तान में तो हो नहीं सकती ना. So they've got their place. They got a Pakistan. The partition was done. That's even what the Honorable Prime Minister said a couple of days back. Now the question is, this Hindutva was silently dismantled. We were made apologetic to being a Hindu. I think Nehruji once said, I'm a Hindu by extent, by liking I'm some British, or by by choice I'm a Muslim or something. That is the kind, I had heard it vaguely, that is what he had to say. So if the top leader of the country had that notion, what you could see was a Kashi, but Rahul rightly said there were piles of garbage and animals roaming around. What you could see were dismantled temples. What you could see that at a time of independence, you would have restored all these 3 places, but you choose not to do it. You forced Sardar Patel not to do it, and you asked then the president, you go on your own, I will not attend that. This silent appeasement of the Muslim community led to it. And Prime Minister Modi, what did he say? Give us what belongs to us rightfully. Look, today's Muslim cannot have the mindset of Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was illiterate. Even this Babar was illiterate. If today's Pada Likha Musliman has the mindset of Aurangzeb and a Babar, then there's a problem. If today's Muslim, who has been 99% of our converted Hindus, they have to look at the way forward. They have to look at the India of the future. They can't go back to have the same mentality of Aurangzeb and Babar. So what Hindus are claiming rightfully.
But at the end of the day, is this not also politically motivated? Because at one point of time, when we talk about the Babari Masjid attacks that had taken place versus the Ram temple that has now been erected, and there has been not a single incident of violence that has been reported, let alone in Varanasi, but across the country. What does that suggest? Is this not politically? Is it just not in political interest to bring communal tensions for their own vote banks, for their own interests, just to come back to power?
You see, Meghaji, it's not about political, it's not about communal. If Muslims will be anti-Ram Mandir or anti-Corridor, then you would have seen them coming out in lakhs and crores. Nothing like that happened. And we knew that. It was basically the patronage of the Congress party. Congress party gave them the patronage. वो कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, खाद पानी दिया, and that is where the rights were orchestrated.
Okay.
Why is it Yogi Adityanath there is no right? Why is it against Congress there were so many rights? Why is it under Modi ji there are no incidents? Ek bomb nahi phata. Kashmir, some small incidents here and there. There's not even a single bomb which has gone on. Who is the prime minister who dismantled raw assets? Who is the president? Who is the ex-president who dismantled raw assets in Iran? I mean, let's not get into that. So there are a lot of stories which are told. And in 1962, when India in Air Force told Nehruji, we can go and beat the shit out of China. I said, nahi karo yaar. Let's not do it. Even after Mumbai attack.
Let's not go there. We'll keep, then we'll keep digressing into the, from away from the subject. Sindol, quickly, a closing point from you before I wrap this up. What do you view the Hindutva in the holistic sense of the ethos of one India, and being Hindu does not alienate oneself from being an Indian?
No, I think there's a simple, clear way to understand this. Every country has a certain cultural bedrock. This is true for all countries in the world. They have a cultural bedrock. America, for instance, its cultural bedrock is Christian. Britain is Christian. Europe, it's Christian. The Anglo-Saxon world, it's Christian. So there is no debate about these things. However, upon that bedrock of Christianity and Christian cultural values, in America, actually, they used to talk about Protestant, work ethic and work values. And upon all of that, of course, multicultural, multi-ethnic societies, modern societies have been built. However, the core cultural values of that country comes from somewhere. It doesn't come from thin air. And in those countries, it comes from Christianity. In India, we have a very diverse population. We have large, populations of various kinds, languages, ethnicities, religions, and so on and so forth. But the core cultural values of India are Hindu. Again, its core cultural values have not come from nowhere. It's very clear that India's core cultural values come from the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, and of course, many other texts like that. Those texts give us our foundational rocks of our civilization, right? And those are our foundational texts. Upon this, a multicultural society have been built of Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, and all kinds of peoples, right? So therefore, if anybody has a problem with that, then that's unfortunate, but this is the reality of India.
Okay, all right. Rahul, would you like to comment on it before I wrap this up?
Even the most left liberal paper is called the Hindu. I mean, with due respect that paper is called Hindu because there is a Hindu cultural bedrock of what we have. That's the reason why Mahatma Gandhi rightly called India Ramarajya. But we need to have a pluralistic framework. We are basically the largest Hindu nation in the world. We are the land of Sri Ram, Sri Krishna, Agamas, temples, Vedas, Upanishads, Tamil, Sanskrit. A great heritage and civilization is there. We cannot discount that. But we need to be harmonious with everyone. That should be the right approach that we need to having. That's the reason why that balance should be made, and we should be happy and proud about our Hindu identity. That is the root and culture of this nation. Why should we shy away from saying it? At the same point of time, we should maintain harmony. We should have pluralism. We should reach out to our Muslim brothers. We should reach out to Christian brothers. We should reach out to atheist, which was an essential school of thought among Charvakas in Indian philosophy itself. So we should have that respect to all, but rooted in ourselves.
Okay, all right. On that note, I've run out of time. I thank all of you for joining me on the telecast. Stay tuned. On the other side, we're talking about the Vikas report of Varanasi, all that has happened in the last 10 years, and what is it that the Prime Minister promises in the next 5 years if the BJP were to come to power. Thanks for watching.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.